In this video, we're going through 15 INFP reminders for growth and success from Dr. Dario Nardi's book, Decode Your Personality. I'm an INFP. My name's Matt Sherman. And let's talk about these 15 points and how they've actually been reflected maybe in my life and some other pointers that we can go through. So the first one, this is on page 288, if you'd like to follow, a link in the description. So number one, your gift is to really go to the heart of any issue if you dare. As INFPs, we spend a lot of time feeling through things and trying to understand, like, what is the most important thing to me about this? I chose those words specifically. What is the most important thing to me about this? Our introverted feeling, our dominant function, what I call the soul, is constantly sifting through our values and the weight of different beliefs and actions and ideas. We run everything through this filter of our conscience. And sometimes it can be really scary. I don't know specifically what he's talking about here, but it can be really scary to point out what somebody is doing wrong in a situation, because it might highlight some, human level, moral level, ethical level dilemma that the person's going through. Really you should care about this other person's situation because blah, blah, blah. And by not doing that, I think you're a bad person. Not you, of course, So that could be part of it. We really do like to explore the depth of even dark and sometimes especially dark emotions and dark places. For me personally, I think it's a personal assessment. Like, I imagine this thing happening that's really bad, and then I kind of check in with myself and how do I feel about that? If that were to happen, how would I feel about it? Like, I'm putting myself into these hypothetical, emotionally doused, laden situations and wondering, who am I when I go out of this situation? Like, if I were to go in it and then exit it, how would I be? Who would I be? Would it align with my values? Would I have taken an action that I thought maybe I shouldn't have? And, really, we don't know until we do it. That's why I'm very much a proponent of getting real life experiences outside of your comfort zone, because sometimes when you're in it, you get a different sense of what you should do. Or you do the thing that maybe you regret, and then you can learn from it and change it from a regret to something you can have gratitude for. Anyway, number two, connect with people who create the kind of organization where you can be empathetic. This is really important for us. We a lot of times feel that the world is not made for us, that the world is something that INFPs are destined to struggle in. It's an ESTJ world, and we're just here flopping about like a fish out of water, trying to figure out what we can do. And there are organizations that want some heart. If you look at the cognitive functions themselves, and I know it's not all like this, but if you just assume for a moment, there are a lot of ETJs at the top of organizations, the ones that have created these organizations. Extroverted thinking is what I call the commander. It's about strategizing, about delegating tasks, resource management, effectiveness, efficiency, getting things done. And the polar opposite of that in the dichotomy, is introverted feeling, which is what we lead with. That's our soul. Again, that's conscience, that's values, and they're connected. Just like we as INFPs have a desire to, maybe create, for example, a personality typing system that helps people understand themselves at a deeper level and get a job or create more harmony in their lives, more alignment in their lives. Extroverted thinking also has the soul within it, and it wants to work with it. Sometimes it fights against it a lot of times, just like we fight against structure and organization. But deep down, extroverted thinking knows that it needs the soul too. The commander knows that it needs the soul, the human component. And the soul knows that it needs the commander to bring out the desired life that we have. We can dream about things all day, but then it would be really nice if our life and the things that we did, our career, our actions, our environment, was reflected in our values, right? And we need the commander, extroverted thinking, to create that life. They can't work in opposition all the time. They need to work together. And so there are kinds of organizations where we can be empathetic. We just need to really look for them. Number 3, with a project, try to do a little work every day. Yeah, that is the best. If you can do that, when you can do that, that is the best. To set aside your golden hour of this is when I work. This is when I work on my thing. From this time to this time, every day, non-negotiable, I'm focused. I'm locked in on this. I know as perceivers, we get this boost of star power, this energy of like, okay, I'm so excited about this. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do all of it. It's going to be great. It's going to be this massive project. And I'm going to call people from all over the world and get, the whole world together on this. And then aliens too. Like, we jump off onto all of these different ideational vacations and lands. And that's great. That gives us a lot of power, gives us a lot of energy and excitement, and creativity can go in there, and innovation. And it gets us motivated too, but bringing it down to that daily level. What am I going to do today? That if I do every day for a week, a month, a year, 10 years, my life is going to be exactly what I want. That is the ultimate way of making progress. And I think we all go through this. We have this unconscious incompetence is like, I don't know that I'm actually that bad at it. And then we start to learn something about it and we start to feel like we understand it more. Just like, if you're watching or somebody's watching football, whether that's soccer or American football, and they're saying like, oh, why'd you miss that shot? That was so easy. I could have done that. Like, that's that level of, well, I could do it, right? I imagine that I can do it. I've watched it. But actually understanding the specifics that are necessary for that are a different level of depth. And so when I was first learning cognitive functions, I felt like I understood it pretty well. I definitely spent a lot of time, like I've got notebooks and notebooks of me just taking notes off Personality Hacker and reading things constantly. Like I would go to sleep listening to Michael Pierce. Like, okay, if you know, you know. And so I thought I knew a lot about it, but I didn't really have that like tangible experiential rigor that I feel I should have had when I got into it. And even now, like I get a lot of awesome ideas like, oh, it's probably, you could just do this, right? But that's more like hypothetical, theoretical situations. And so actually, in order to use it ethically, in order to use the idea ethically, I think is wonderfully worded, then seriously learn the specifics. Like spend the time, get the due diligence, lean into introverted thinking for a while, introverted sensing, get the practice, get a real deep understanding of it, and then we can bring out more of our gift, which is how can we attach that to being a human? And how can this help people? What are all the different ways, the thousands of different ways that we could apply this model of understanding? I think that's where we shine, but we do need to spend some time really going, they call it going T-shaped. Like there's a big breadth of topics and understandings and things that we can delve into, different areas, different niches. And then we need to go down into like a real deep understanding of the things that are important to us before we can bring them back up and share them with other people. Now, how much is too much? I don't know, for another day. Number 3, 4, 5. Try to gather 3 facts about important situations, even if you must ask. I hate facts. Can I say that? That's a fact. Like in arguments with my wife or anybody else, I tend to just, like, everything blurs together. Everything is just this mesh of, well, you know what happened. I was feeling this way, and you were feeling that way, and this is what happened. And it's like really, really vague, very intuitive stuff, not grounded in sensorial facts. And I think this could be a good practice for me is to, I feel petty though. I feel petty if it were a fight or anything like that to be like, well, Let me write down what you did throughout the situation. Like, I don't know, but I can see it as important. Maybe you can too. Next, number 6, it's okay to imagine as if you had a certain plan. Isn't that nice? I talk a lot about logging on to different characters. This is like the whole base of Path of Heroes Academy, is if I want to perform better in a certain situation, I need to go into my mind and find that character, choose your fighter, as somebody said recently in a comment, and see them out there, replicate their breathing, build rapport with that character, essentially. Match their breathing, their posture, what are their beliefs, what are the things that they're telling themselves, and then go take an action. In the same way, if something's like giving you a bunch of anxiety, you could likely say, okay, if I were to have a plan, how would I be standing? How would I be breathing? If I were to log on to the commander or the adventurer extroverted sensing, which is about being present and in the moment, that's not really a plan, but like it's a different character that is maybe more suited to take action in that situation. Then match them and imagine as if, light up your mirror neurons and go, and you'll figure it out on the way. Next, try to stay tuned in to alternate beliefs. So I would like to say that I'm very flexible with my beliefs, and I'm okay with taking anything in and playing with different ideas all the time. But then I know that there are certain things that like my mind is grounded towards. I'm trying to think of a specific example without getting too deep into stuff that I don't want to talk about. I don't know. I spend a lot of time using reframes, mind lines, and thinking different ways about things. Like, well, what if it were like this? What if it wasn't this and it was this? What if it wasn't that your son is being disobedient, but rather that he's just really curious? Those kind of thought processes. And though I think there's probably something going on inside that is slanting that towards certain beliefs, because it's like I imagine it like a black hole or a big sun, right? And you have all your beliefs rotating around it, orbiting around it. I think that's more kind of like what it is. Anyway, thanks for listening. But being able to take in other people's perspectives and listen, really activate our brain and our INFP superpower with our brain state of listening, being in a listening, open listening state, I think is very helpful for us. Once we have made a decision, once we've locked on to a value or an assessment, then it tends to be a lot less flexible and we're a lot less open to listening. I gotta speed up. I'm gonna run out of time. When something seems unbelievable, consider what is really an aspect of your identity and what is simply a hasty evaluation about its worth. Yes, I think I can believe practically everything. I have this belief that whatever I can think of has probably happened at some time, somewhere. So I don't know if I can say that it's unbelievable, but I do know that I myself, you too probably, can make quick evaluations with our intuition about what a person is thinking, feeling, why they're doing it, what their intentions are. And sometimes that's misaligned. Sometimes we haven't fully taken in the whole picture. We've got a couple data points and we're just saying, okay, this is what it is. And this is why they're doing it. And this is probably what they were thinking, because that's what I would have felt or thought or done in order to create that emergent experience or result. But taking that with a grain of salt and saying, it could be this though. It might not. It might not be. It might be something. I think it's probably a healthy thing. Next, good reasoning involves considering multiple counter arguments. He's really harping on this. Maybe I need to look more into how this has impacted me. Multiple counter arguments is good. Get the facts, get the information, right? And then be able to assess it from there. Ground your beliefs in the lives of many real people. We can spend a lot of time in that idealized land, limerence, imagining all these fantastical situations that we haven't actually experienced. I was just talking to my wife about something similar to this. I can't get into the details, but somebody and their family was having a situation, and I was saying that mom, that person, probably doesn't have that real life actual felt experience of going through the thing that her daughter is going through. So she probably doesn't know how to react to it because she hasn't felt it. She's an ISFP, okay? So we're talking mainly about introverted feeling, but I know for myself, if I haven't been in the experience or spent a lot of time feeling through it, then I likely don't have as heavy of a weight for like taking the right action or having an appropriate assessment, if that makes sense. There have been times where I've done things or said things or saw things that I didn't think were a problem until I actually like felt it. It was in NE space, it was in idea space out there until once I actually felt it, there's been a lot of regret or like, oh, I should have done something then. Because I've let it like seep into me and I've regenerated that emotion in a stronger way. I guess if you're an INFP, you probably understand that, I hope. Ground your ideas, beliefs in the lives of many real people and or get a lot of real experiences so that you know how you would really feel in that situation. Don't get seduced by the dark side of reactionary identity. Yep. We definitely need to be more activated, more on quest, more on purpose with a lot of our actions. If you're doing it, awesome, good for you. But I know in my life, there are plenty of areas, and there have been, decades where I wish I were more active, proactive. And I was even told that before. This girl said that I should be more proactive and go for what I want. And I believe it. If I didn't believe it, then I wouldn't have taken it in, I don't think. I was playing with creating characters the other day, and I made one called Excuses Alyssa. And that's kind of what it is. It was like, well, this wouldn't work for me because of this thing, because of how I was raised, because of this family situation, because I'm in this place, or because I have this, issue. It wouldn't work for me. And that's like a very touchy area that I'm hesitant to explain too much or talk about too much in other videos, but I see it a lot in the comments. This kind of like self-defeatist thing, like already stopping ourselves before even applying it or before trying it because it doesn't match us. And this reactionary identity, I think. And definitely, I'm sure I do it too. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. If you wait to hear what sounds good, consider how you can work out the negative feelings. If you wait to hear what sounds good, consider how you can work out the negative feelings. I don't understand that. I understand working out negative feelings. I don't understand waiting to hear what sounds good. Maybe he's saying like, if you feel some negative feeling, work on having gratitude for it, work on understanding it, having a different experience of it, giving it time until maybe there's a point later in the conversation or the experience where it was a good thing. I don't know. Next, attend to your health and physical environment. It's not as scary as you imagine. I've definitely experienced a lot of physical pains through not paying attention to my health. Knee pains, back pains, from breakdancing and skating and all sorts of things. Dental issues from not noticing the slow creep of the problem. In physical environments too, I think usually it goes on an extreme of, it doesn't matter, it's fine, it's just this little thing, to, oh my God, we're all gonna die if we continue to do this or not fix this thing. And there's this like extreme back and forth between it. It's not as scary as you imagine, maybe. But I think we can all be a little bit more present, If you can't be there emotionally for a person, then introduce them to someone who can. Interesting. I think INFPs spend a lot of time being there for other people and holding space for other people, but if there's a point where we can't or we don't want to, then we ghost, we kind of fade away, and the other person is left trying to figure out what to do or try to understand us. I hear this a lot of times in comments and emails as well, of people like, I'm in a relationship with an INFP, or I thought I was, but now they're not responding and I don't know what to do about it and I need some help. And I think that could be tied to that. So definitely like being open and honest with our feelings can be scary, And also, I think it can be very helpful for other people as well as for understanding ourselves and allowing ourselves to stand within our values and to really be authentic. Last one. Realize that your words may cause people to reconsider who they are and what they believe in. We definitely have a superpower with that, and it's taken me a long time to realize it. I'm often, even now, I'm like, yeah, but who really cares what I say or what's going on in my life or, my perspective on this, which I know is not true, because there wouldn't be almost 60,000 subscribers and we wouldn't have the Evolve community and people wouldn't have bought my courses and things like that. And I wouldn't have like these kind of interactions if that were not true. In my day-to-day life with my family, I know that's true as well, even though I often don't feel like it. Even though I often I mumble to myself a little bit aloud as a joke, but also as truth. Like, 聞こえてるのかな? Like, is anybody actually listening? Can anybody hear me? It's just like this little, 聞こえてるのかな? Like, really? Is anybody there? Anybody listening? Though I know that people do care for our perspectives and they care for our reframes of, it might not be this, it might be this. Have you thought about it like that? What do you really want as a person? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Those kind of conversations are really needed in the world. It's just, they're not done very often. And although people say that we need more of that, it's not really shown. It's not really as accepted as we at a meta level know that it should be. All right. So those were 15 points of advice from Dr. Dario Nardi from his book, Decode Your Personality. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. I hope that you resonated with it. Maybe you felt seen, felt heard. And if you want the book, I'll put a Amazon affiliate link down below. We have plenty of other videos, interviews with Dr. Dario Nardi as well, and me explaining his 4 different subtypes that come from this book too. Check it out. And if you do want more one-on-one support with me, go to evolve.geekpsychology.com and you can figure out how. All right? Good luck, have fun. Peace. How do I sit? How do I sit without you? Dun. In this video, we're going through 15 INFP reminders for growth and success from Dr. Dario Nardi. I will never say his name the same.